Hello and welcome to my Warrior review of episode 9. All of Death is Going Home. So a quick synopsis and then we'll break it down. It picks up right away from the end of last week's episode with Lai in Strickland's house. She quickly dispatches the big dude before we get a brief fight scene between her and Strickland. And then they cut to the opening credits. Bastards. And it turns out he got the better of her. Bill gets a visit from the Mayor Buckley and he is offered the job of police chief, and he quickly accepts it with his wife's blessing. Larry and Strickland have a falling out with each other, leading to devastating and deadly consequences. As Sam lets Yan Mi know that the Hot Boy are close to completing their training in perfecting the counterfeit money that she was doing for them. She asks him to come with her, and he says he wants to go, but he's having a bit of a and ah in his head and trying to decide. So she tells him, "You better decide quickly." Later, he talks it over with a toy about leaving with Yan Mi, saying he doesn't belong in the Hot Boy anymore. To which a toy replies, "You never really did. And perhaps you can have a life outside of Chinatown, where others have failed." Now there's a single scene with Mai Ling and Lee Young, as he tries to talk to her. It's a case of the morning after the night before, so to speak. And she has some Long Z members there as protection from him. Which, let's be honest, if he wanted to, he would go through them in an instant, and it would be a joy to watch. And I wanted to see this, but alas. He asks her if she thinks he would hurt her, and she replies, "I don't know." Now she has tears in her eyes as she says this. So is this more manipulation, or is she genuinely afraid? After all, she's lost her best fighter. She's vulnerable with very little to protect her now. And I don't think he can tell the difference anymore, and he shrugs off his Long Z coat and he walks away. Meanwhile, Yan Mi is arrested on possession of counterfeiting after Agent Lee finds the money she had been nicking off the Upware. It turns out that Father Jun has been suffering from blood poisoning, and that the only thing that can be done for him is to help quicken his passing to serve further pain. Young Jun says no way at first, until his father tells him it is his wish to die with dignity. And so, in an emotionally charged scene, Young Jun tells his father he loves him and carries out his final wish. Yan Mi's brother lets Sam know about her arrest, and he marches straight to the police station and makes a deal to secure her release. Hong's relationship comes crashing down to earth after he beats up a cop, or the cop, it should say, that pointed a gun at him. The cop, it turns out, being gay, didn't have the slightest recollection of who Hong is. As Sam lets Chow know about the deal with the Secret Service and asks him to keep hold of a stash of cash and 2 railway tickets. He also tells him to stay away from the printing press because the ice factory will be full of cops in the morning. We get a touching moment with Young Jun, Hong and Assam drinking Father Jun's favourite drink. Hong lets it known his relationship is over because, as he says, he took work home with him. To which Young Jun says they have each other and they drink to being brothers. It's quite poignant as we know that Assam is plotting something. Now I don't think it's going to implicate the Hot Boy any further than it does, and I think he's going to try and pin it elsewhere. Chow is forced to make a deal to save his life from those that replaced Happy Jack's leadership. He lets them know about the Hot Boy's plan about moving the press. Now, is this part of Sam's plan, or will it just be a happy coincidence if the police kill that gang and find the stolen plates? I guess we can put this episode down as one being about loss and letting go. Of course, we have the deaths of Lai and Father Jun, but in terms of letting go, we have Sam at least having, it seems, pick a side, and that is by Yan Mi. Now this season has at least been in part about his changing morality and the impact that Yan Mi has had on him. We also see Laoghaire letting go of the political side of himself, and he seems genuinely happy about it. We saw him get absolutely frustrated when having to deal with business leaders, and while he thought that he had a mentor and partner with Strickland, it wasn't what he envisaged. So in no particular order, let's break down the episode. Talking about Laoghaire. Let's talk about that, shall we? In last week's episode, there was tension in their relationship, and for a brief moment in this episode, it looked as though they were past it. Until that is, Strickland says he has no intention at all of replacing the Chinese with Irish labour, and this completely disintegrates their partnership. Laoghaire in the scene looks genuinely hurt that a man he trusted isn't keeping what he sees as good faith. Yet Strickland never says that he will do so. You can argue that he implies he will hire the Irish, but I don't think he specifically says it. What he does offer Laoghaire is the opportunity to learn how to work the system, but Laoghaire either refuses to, doesn't care, or just can't learn the game. Either way, Laoghaire escalates it very quickly by blowing up a bridge and some of the rail tracks. He later barges in on a business meeting and threatens to blow up more things. This is season 2 Laoghaire, who's perfectly happy blowing things up to send a message. Strickland later sends a group of men to hurt and kill Laoghaire. Let's just say it ends very badly for them. Laoghaire goes full Negan mode, albeit with a lump hammer, and bashes a guy's head in. And on another goes American History X, albeit using the pub's bar instead of a curb. The whole fight is brutal, but especially these 2 kill scenes. This is Laoghaire in beast mode, and boy, is he a beast. And he has to be. This is him fighting for his very life. In this season, we've seen Laoghaire try to be something he isn't, but now seems to fully embrace his nature. Strickland says the gangster prevails. Yet he replies, "You've never seen the gangster." How this concludes will be interesting, as Strickland is bound to have a meeting with Atoy in the finale. Speaking of, she's devastated by her loss, and Nellie seems to be in favour of her more vengeful side, when she replies yes very sternly to Atoy's "justice comes in many forms." The scene where she's cleaning Lyde's body is really well done. Again, there's little to no words, but we know Atoy cared deeply for her. In season 1, when she's introduced, I think it's because she comes from the same village as Atoy. It's that mention of where she's from that piques her interest, and from then on she's protected by her. I don't know if a parental view is too strong, but you could definitely argue there's a sibling view of her. It also seems like Atoy is back to full strength now, so won't it be fun to see who kills Strickland first? Her or Laoghaire? And I want to congratulate whoever made the season 3 trailer. I accept it could just be me, but I honestly thought it was going to be that Atoy that blows up the tracks and bridge in retaliation for Strickland's men killing the girls. Bravo to you who made that trailer. I'm happy I was right about Bill becoming police chief. I'm also very happy it wasn't due to political pressure by Strickland and Laoghaire, as I predicted it could be. It's better this way, as he doesn't really owe anyone his position. I was very surprised about Assam making the deal with the Secret Service. We clocked Lee spotting her at the wedding last week, and I thought he'd pressure her in somewhere, but it was all Assam. He was very quick to bargain for her, but I don't think it's that much of a surprise. He wasn't really in favour of the Hotwire being reliant on counterfeiting in the first place. He saw it as a temporary solution. And we know his romance with Yan Mi has been progressing and how she has strongly influenced him, whether he knows it or not. This has been building throughout the season, and the story of how Thunder and Lightning came about set this up. I'm sure you can even add a Toy's influence on him. She's long seen Assam as a potential hero for the Chinese. After all, it's him on the wall, she said in the last episode of season 2. I very much enjoyed the scene between the Juns. This show does a very good job of being more than its premise. It's very good at letting scenes breathe and letting the audiences feel and go along with the character's journey. Killing his father was the last thing that Young Jun wanted to do, and it feels like he's longed for a more loving relationship with him, yet that's not what he got. He tells Assam in season 1 he was initiated worse than anyone else to avoid favouritism. And perhaps in Father Jun's muddled state, the two bonded more than otherwise would have happened. It's also seeing his father in his more confused state is why this time he does help his father pass. In season 2, he told Young Jun to kill him after taking control, and he refused. Well, this is a mercy kill. Now, a quick mention of the Hong storyline. So I questioned last week if it was serving any purpose other than even gangsters have relationship. But it seems this was more of Hong seeing that you can't live in two worlds. Now I'm going to mention the Mai Ling and Lee Young scene again. It was really well done with very few words. I loved the tension in the scene. After all he has done for her, he was prepared to kill her brother for her. He killed his best friend for her. And then she questions him. And you really feel for the guy. If he wasn't already angry, he is in that moment. Now, going off the promo for next week, I think he will be in it. Possibly once again to protect her. It's the finale, so I hope he gets a good scene. Once again, this show and all its staff delivered on another great episode of television. It's sad that it's coming towards an end. One hopes only for a few years before its return due to the strikes. Once again, it's been great to talk about the show. I can watch these episodes time and time again. They're that enjoyable. HBO really have stumbled onto a gem. And it's kind of shambolic how podcasts, such as the Salty Nerd podcast, myself and others, are promoting the show better than HBO seem to be. I'm all for, voice of the people, but they really should be pushing it. I really wish they'd take this show more seriously. It could and should be their flagship streaming show. That's all for me. Ta-da.